Welcome to the 2021 Wyatt Award presentation. Wiz, you and I are back together again for the ninth
Tony. Great
year.
To be here.
Great to have you. Before we announce our finalists and our winner, let's talk a little bit about your award. It's about leadership. It's about multi-sport athlete. It's about good grades. You're going to meet one of those kids today. Walk through the multi-sport thing. The multi-sport thing's a little bit different than it was for you and I growing up in the 60s and 70s. Yeah. Today, kids are jumping in minivans and going to 2 games at a time, 2 different sports, 2 different weekends. It's a grind for 52 weeks for athletes today. Walk through what it was like for you to be a multi-sport athlete compared to kids today.
Well, there's clear definition in seasons, as we've talked before. So now I'm aging myself, but when the ice melted, hockey was over. Nevertheless, in 8th and 9th grade, I did play some spring hockey. That said, I see it for these kids, young men and women, boys and girls. It's a challenge because there's a lot to juggle. And it's not just the sport itself, but it's the commitment to the individual team, that transition, physically, the wear and tear, making sure you get enough sleep as well. And as you've proven over the years with the young men that you selected for this award, which I've been quite impressed by. These are really talented young kids. But they've got school life, and they got family life, and outside life in addition. So I think that there is a fair amount of pressure. And therefore, I would suggest that much of that falls back on the parents. They have to be intentional. Intentional from the standpoint of helping their kids walk through that so that they in turn can understand what is really important. So that comes down to the fundamentals of their family, school, and the relationships not only with their teammates but others. So that character is just essential.
Well said. Well said. I joked with you before we turned the camera on that when I was a kid, if someone had told me, if my dad had said, "You have baseball today after a hockey game," I would have been like, "Yeah, bring it on. I want that." I would have loved to have played sports all day long and get a chance to compete would have been great. I'm not sure I could have done it for 52 weeks for 8, 9, 10 years of a youth career. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, again, I go back to it's a different conversation. And as you explained, seasonality was set for us. At this point, you really have to have the engagement properly of the parents to talk, I think, with that young person, again, that young man, young woman, to say, what do you want to do? And it doesn't mean they've got freelance and can do exactly right. I'm not in favor of that, never have been. But I think to have that conversation at a different level, which is really important to the long-term relationship within the family because it puts stress on everybody, Tony, again, as you know. Yeah. So I think you also have to have the courage at times to say no. When no, there's only so much we're going to do, and let's make sure we're clear on our priorities and, again, intentional for what we want longer term as you're putting those building blocks in place, and it's just so critical in those young years.
Well, that's why you were the award winner, and we're named this award after you. Excuse me, is because of those words. You were a great mentor to me as a player growing up, and even today, even to this day. So let's meet our 5 finalists this year. Some good ones from all over the state.
Wonderful, talented crew.
Yeah, Stillwater's Cole Brownhausen, a great baseball player and great hockey player, student at Gentry Academy. Andy Brown, here local Bloomington kid, great baseball player, a great student at Olson Middle School, and a player helped lead his team to state this year in PeeWee AA. AJ Francisco from Hermantown, good baseball player, soccer player, good student, and obviously a great hockey player as well. Henry Sampera, awesome soccer player, a wonderful hockey player, was the MVP of our Founders Cup this winter down in Rochester. And Mason West, he's a 3-sport athlete from your hometown now at Edina.
Can never say hometown.
Yes, I know, but you are an Edina guy now. He was a great football player, baseball player, and a fantastic hockey player. Edina gets back in the winner's circle, won state this year in St. Michael. State champions. So this year's winner from Hermantown, Minnesota, our second winner from Hermantown, AJ Francisco. Come on in, AJ.
Oh, great.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Big award.
Nice going, AJ.
Thank you.
Yeah, you betcha.
We're going to take this and hand it to him. And we're going to try to get an interview in here really quick with you. You can stay on camera, Wiz. You're going to be off a little bit if you step too far. Yeah. All right, AJ, let's walk through, tell your story a little bit so people who don't know AJ very well. You come from a good hockey family, but you have an interesting path to this Wiz Wyatt Award. You moved from California and you moved here. What was it like playing hockey and sports in California compared to the environment you live now in Hermantown?
It was a lot different. California you couldn't get much ice there, and you obviously couldn't skate outside in the winter with frozen ice like you could here, and I like it a lot better here.
You get a chance now because of the kind of a smaller town in Hermantown to play multiple sports. You get that seasonality. Do you like it better in Hermantown, or is it the sports, or is it the community too that you like so much?
I like Hermantown. It's a small little town there, so you know a lot of people, and it's nice. I play with the same kids year round, baseball, hockey, and it's nice.
Walk through that. You're in town. You're in Hermantown. The difference between California and here. There's no traffic. The lifestyle is a little bit slower. Do you like the slower lifestyle up in Hermantown versus LA?
Yeah, I do. I mean, we don't have to drive 30 minutes to hockey practice every day, so it's a lot better, and it's a good group of kids here too, and I just like it a lot better.
You heard Wiz and I talking before, being a multi-sport athlete, you're constantly on the go between baseball and hockey and all the other sports that you do. Are the coaches nice to you about that? Because sometimes there's that, oh, he's leaving us to go play hockey, or he's leaving us to go play baseball. How is that transition for you as a 13-year-old kid?
Yeah, it's difficult, but most coaches understand. They know that I like playing both sports, and they know I'm trying to juggle both of them as best as I can, and they understand.
You have a really high GPA. It's one of the reasons you get this award. It's GPA. It's your natural leadership. Great hockey player, obviously. What's your favorite thing to study? Who's your favorite teacher at Hermantown?
My favorite thing to study is probably history, and my teacher is Mr. Andrews, Patrick Andrews, and I just like learning about the wars and how it kind of changed countries and people's lives, and yeah.
Well, we did not even set up the Pat Andrews one there. One of my favorite coaches. I'm not even sure you knew it. He was a Bantam coach before he became the high school coach. There's a little history lesson for you there, and he's obviously a great high school coach. What is it about Coach Andrews that you like as a teacher and maybe even potentially as a high school coach for you down the road?
He's really nice. I mean, he understands and he helps out, and he's very understanding and outgoing.
Yes, he is. That's for sure. Last thing, you've had a great youth career, started in California, obviously back here now in Hermantown where your family's from. Do you have anyone to thank as far as the award's concerned?
Yeah, I'd definitely like to thank my family, my mom, my dad, and my sister. Definitely my coach, Brian LeBlanc, and a huge thanks to my teammates who helped me out with this award for sure. This
year's winner, another great one, Wiz, is AJ Francisco from Hermantown, Minnesota.
You bet.
Like the roof on fire. We go drink drinks and take shots until we fall.